Naimbag nga Rabi E. Cordillera.
Ito ang programa kung saan ating pinag-uusapan ang mga bagay na mahalaga para sa mga kabataan.
Siya ni Clint Isvan Tutanes.
At ako naman si Chelsea Doringo.
Daytuti, Dadadat para Sinan-Inungan, a youth-oriented podcast of the Philippine Information Agency, Cordillera. And this episode ay napaka-special dahil part po ito ng ating 18-day campaign to end violence against women and their children. And napakasaya po namin dahil may kasama po tayo all the way from the Department of Social Welfare and Development, Cordillera, si Ma'am Rogelea Ann Marie S. Claur. And bago natin tanungin kung ano yung tungkol sa Regional Haven, isa po siya sa maging topic natin today. Kumustahin natin si Ma'am Rog. Kumusta naman po kayo?
Yeah, hello. First of all, good afternoon sa inyo and thank you for having us here. Okay naman ang Regional Haven for women and girls. So actually, 24 hours ang aming operation, 7 days of the week.
Ayan, napakasipag naman po ng ating mga taga-Regional Haven. Kasi imagine, di ba, 24 hours tapos 7 days in a week. So, all throughout sa buhay nila is nakatutok talaga sila para mabantayan itong ating mga victims ng violence against women. Ayan, so, ano po ba, ma'am, ang mandates or baka bigyan niyo po kami ng brief background kung ano nga po itong Regional Haven na sinasabi nila?
Ang Regional Haven for women and girls, of course, it's a 24-hour residential care facility for girls and women who are survivors of abuse. Actually, we'd rather call them as survivors rather than victims. Kasi mas yun yung gusto nating itanim sa kanilang isip. Because if we call them victims, then parang we are defining them because of their experience of abuse. Yeah. Yung RHWG, yun ang shortcut kasi namin, or Regional Haven, was established in 1999 through the efforts of yung mga spouses ng mga congressman natin. So yung mga congressional spouses. Ngayon, before its establishment, ang mga cases natin, nire-refer pa natin sa Region 1. So, yun ang naging isang reason why we had to establish, or the SWD had to establish and partner with the congressional spouses para i-put up ang Regional Haven purposely to cater to women and girls survivors of abuse dito sa Cordillera. Kasi it is very important that survivors, while they are in the center, dapat close pa rin sila sa family members because they also need the support enable for them to be rehabilitated. So, yun yung isang reason why the Regional Haven for Women and Girls dito sa FOCAR was established.
Ayun, so napaka-noble naman po ng intention ng pag-put up nitong Regional Haven for Women and Girls. And can you imagine ano po na noon is kailangan pa talagang pumunta ng Region 1 and now we are able to put up a center na talagang magki-cater sa mga survivors dito sa Cordillera. Kasi ang layo ma'am ng Region 1 dito sa Cordillera.
Ma'am, ano po yung mga programs and activities related to relative to the women empowerment and how to end the violence against women?
Yung aming programs and services ay nakasummarize siya sa acronym na SHEPHERDS. So, S stands for Social Services, H is for yung Home Life Services. This is where the women and the girls are taught about life skills, those skills that they need in order to be capable for independent living, yun yung home life. And then we have education, of course, kasi institutionalization should not be a reason for them to stop yung kanilang education. And then we have psychological or psychiatric kasi syempre they are all survivors of abuse. Andyan yung resulta ng abuse ay trauma, ganun depression. So they have to really undergo yung psychological and even minsan psychiatric kasi pagpunta na sa amin, they already have this parang nagsiset in na ang mental illness na hindi na yun kaya ng isang psychologist. And then we have Health, of course. Kailangan din kasi na we ensure that they are in the best of health while they are in the center. And then we have economic productivity wherein they are taught yung mga how to be self-reliant, ganyan, how to be self-employed, tapos discover their skills and talents, mga ganyan, in, for example, baking or mga iba pa na income-generating projects. And then, of course, we have recreation, wherein we have sports, we have yung mga nature walks, mga ganyan, which are research-based naman na very effective to address yung mga current anxieties and yung mga pinagdadaanan ng ating mga survivors. And then, D is for yung dietary, of course, because we provide them healthy meals 3 times a day na meron silang meals and then 2 snacks, ganyan. And then, of course, spiritual. So, dun sa shepherds nga, the S, spiritual. Kasi, di ba sa mental health, well-being ng isang tao, ngayon sinasama na rin talaga ang spiritual aspect. So, yun ang aming programs and services na ang acronym niya ay shepherds.
Ayun, so napaka well-rounded ma'am ng program na ibinibigay ng Regional Haven para sa ating mga survivors.
I would like also to stress na hindi lahat si Haven ang nagpo-provide dyan. We always partner with our community stakeholders kasi no single agency could provide the very complex needs ng isang tao na nagdaan sa abuso. Kaya we partner with psychiatrists, with doctors, yan. So it's not all the SWD. It's really a partnership of all community stakeholders. Yan.
Ayan. So, do you invite also, ma'am, siguro other agencies, like, kasi sa Bahay Pag-asa, they also invite yung mga religious sectors, may ganyan for spirituals. So, nasabi nyo nga kanina, it's a multi-faceted na event na kung saan kailangan nyo din ng powers talaga, powers ng iba pang mga agencies, po?
Actually, through our advocacy efforts, hindi na namin kailangan mag-invite. It's the group that, the spiritual groups who come to us and volunteer their services. So yun ang isang advantage if we really advocate for the plight or the welfare of our survivors. Yun.
Ayan, so marami po ba kayong mga ngayon, ma'am, mga survivors ngayon na nasa Regional Haven?
Ngayon, as of January, we're already able to serve 65, both women and girls yan. And then, of course, from January to present, continuous naman ang services. Meron tayong nare-reintegrate to their families and communities. Now, we still have 19 who remain under our services kasi they are undergoing continuous rehabilitation or still undergoing yung interventions needed by these survivors.
Ma'am, ano po yung impacts nito sa mga survivors po after the programs po and sa mga women po na hindi pa po nakaka-discover po, hindi pa po nakakapunta sa Haven po?
Of course, the impact of our programs and services is yung to address their trauma, depression, anxieties, ganyan. We are always hopeful na through our programs and services ay matutulungan natin itong mga kababaihan na not to be defined by the abuse that they went through, but rather move on and survive from their traumatic experiences. But of course, lagi namin sinasabi sa aming residents na yung kanilang development is a partnership. Hindi lang pwedeng si DSWD or yung mga partner agencies ang gumagawa ng action. It also has to come from them. Kasi sino ba ang dapat na mas move to action to change their lives but themselves. So yun naman ang parang nagiging agreement namin once they are admitted to the center. Kasi kahit gawin natin lahat, kung yung iba kasi talagang behavioral change din kasi so it's really an effort. So kung wala sa sarili yung yung pagbabago din na kailangan gawin, then I think hindi rin magagawa ng DSWD yung other half nung kanilang rehabilitation plan. Yun.
Ayan, so kailangan in partner talaga siya. May willingness itong
Yes.
mga survivors na ito to change.
Yes. Oo.
Ayan. So, ma'am, doon sa process po ng pag-admit nyo siguro ng at mga survivors, paano po yung process, ma'am? Kung may nag-report po ba, paano po siya?
First, there should always be an assessment kasi we have to assess whether that person is fit for the services of the center. Kasi kung hindi siya fit, then our programs and services won't be responsive to their needs. So, always important ang aming assessment. Is she for the programs and services of Haven? Ngayon, kung hindi naman, we would always refer to our partner agencies. Now, if they fit the categories or the requirements for admission, then yun, mag-i-interview na yung ating social worker, and then of course assess the needs of the resident, and then it is always meron yung intervention planning between the worker and then the resident, kasi ano na yung plano mo, so paano natin ngayon i-reach yung plano mo. So it's always the resident na planning for yung intervention niya. The social worker is just there to guide yung ating survivor.
Ayan. So, sa Haven po ba, ma'am, aside from the survivors, do you also take in mga children in conflict with the law? Kasi observation ko dun sa Bahay Pag-asa, all are boys. So, I'm guessing sa Haven pupunta yung mga girls naman or women? If I'm correct.
Case-to-case basis din kasi.
Okay.
Still, it goes through assessment. Kung fit pa rin siya sa services ng center. Kasi for heinous crimes, hindi na kasi. We have other residential care facilities who could better provide the needs of CICL na babae. Oo.
Ayun, it's so good po ma'am na case-to-case basis and you're really taking into consideration kung paano nyo matutulungan yung mga individuals kasi lahat sila I believe magkakaiba sila lahat ng cases, so yung mga needs nila ay magkakaiba din.
Yes. That's why yung approach din namin is individualized. Hindi pwedeng ang programa mo or ang serbisyo mo is one size fits all because they come from different walks of life. Iba-iba talaga yung circumstances nila in life. Kaya dapat talaga individualized yung ating approach to their intervention plans or their rehabilitation plans.
Okay po.
Ma'am, paano nyo po na-encourage yung mga survivors para po mag-reach out sa Haven about their experiences, their troubles?
Usually kasi they are being referred to us by our local social welfare and development offices. Very few lang yung walk-in, yung pupunta sa atin, and then we have again nga to assess if they fit the services of the center, ganyan. Yun. And then as to reaching out, andyan din kasi yung office ni Ma'am Neri. We always partner with our social marketing office para sa advocacy efforts na ito ang Haven, this is whom we cater to, mga ganon. So, we are very active partners. Actually, sa 3 centers namin sa DSWD, active partner namin ng aming SMS for the advocacy efforts.
Ayan. So, may tanong yata kanina. Go. Okay. Ayun kasi sabi niya, kailangan kasi talaga yung malakas na partnership, especially sa IEC. Kasi yung talagang goal natin is to prevent, yung mga ganitong pangyayari para mawala na talaga itong mga survivors na kailangan pang i-cater ng ating regional Haven. Ngayon, ma'am, is it okay po ba i-share natin kung ano po ba yung mga iba't ibang mga cases or cases na hinahandle lang Haven, and if it is increasing or decreasing po ba yung numbers nung
Currently, we have cases of rape, trafficking. We also have, unfortunately, we have cases of incest rape, And then, of course, yung mga vow, yung mga housewives, mga ganyan. And then, we also have neglected children, may sex trafficking din. And then, children at risk, meron din kami. So, yun yung mga aming currently being served at the center. Ngayon, whether if it's increasing yung cases, I think center-based kasi kami. So, we really do not have that parang data to give you the picture kung ano ang larawan ng vow sa car. Pero ang na-observe namin na trend sa Haven is increasing ang rape. And then very sad na increasing din kasi ang incest rape. So siguro sa ating interagency efforts, yun yung isang siguro natin tignan how we can work at the ground para how to advocate din. Lalo na yung mga incest rape kasi ang hirap sa kanila because they do not know whom to trust. Yun, oo.
Kasi kung mismong family nila ang parang
yes, exactly.
perpetrator or abuser, parang it's so hard to get out of the, nasabi mong house or home. And we hope nga na in the future ay mawala talaga itong klase ng issue and talagang mag-zero ang mga cases na ganito, ma'am.
And then the stigma rin kasi. Kung papaniwalaan ba ako or hindi. Because this is my father I am reporting or my uncle I am reporting or my stepfather that I am reporting. So, andun talaga yung takot nila. Kaya very important yung ating advocacy to tell these children na meron kayong pwedeng lapitan. Yun. Sa Haven, ang amin mantra is believe the child. So, yun. Yun ang aming mantra sa Haven.
Ay, ma'am, ano po yung role naman po ng mga lalaki and ng society para po sa violence against women po?
Sa men kasi, who could better understand the psychology of men and then the dynamics of men other than men themselves, 'di ba? Kaya just imagine men being advocates against vow or against all this gender-based violence, ganun. May training akong inattendan noon. It has nothing to do with abuse, but still it's for women empowerment. Yung non-scalpel vasectomy. Yun. So, yung men who underwent the non-scalpel vasectomy, sila ang naging advocates to promote yung ganong klaseng family planning method. Kasi nga, ang belief nila is it doesn't rest upon the women lang ang pag-family planning. It also rests upon the men. So, napakagandang advocacy yun na yung men who underwent yung NSV, sila mismo yung nag-advocate to their fellow men sa community.
Ay, totoo yan, ma'am. Kasi most of the mainstream na nakikita natin na for family planning is talagang for women. So, kailangan damihan din siguro ang for family planning methods for men para hindi always babae dapat ang nag-a-adjust yung ganun ma'am. So it's very bakit ka nakatingin ko? So very noble po na nagkaroon nga ng ganyan na training or IEC campaign na magkaroon ng non-scalpel vasectomy for men para matry din nila kung gaano kahirap ang buhay na maging isang babae. Ayun.
Sa Women's Month din siguro, let's appeal to the men to do then yung advocacy to men's groups, ganyan. Yung parang para maiba na yung usapang lalaki ba na kung ilan yung naging chicks mo, ganyan.
Ay, totoo.
Paano mo natakasan yung misis mo na ganon. Parang, di ba? Parang usapang lalaki na how to respect women siguro. Care for your wives, mga ganyan na klase ng advocacy.
Ay, totoo. Kasi usually pag nag-gather yung mga boys, alam mo namang usapan, di ba? Nagiinuman sila, ganyan. So, dapat mag-change ang kanilang mga pinag-uusapan. It's more on how to better themselves to respect women, ganyan. And we're happy na magkakaroon ng first ever meeting ng men opposed to violence everywhere. very soon. And I hope na maraming mag-join doon ng mga men, especially na kailangan talagang ipalaganap natin ang campaign to ending violence against women. Ayan, so going back naman po, ano po sa tingin niyo ma'am ang dapat pang maging role ng community as a whole sa pag-prevent siguro ng violence against women?
Siguro it's yun nga, to strengthen more yung advocacy among men. Kasi, di ba, pag Women's Month, women ang audience, mga ganyan, oo. So, yun sana yung isang strategy na tignan natin, how to reach out to more men, na men din yung nag-advocate for this, yung violence against women.
And it would be very, siguro, heartwarming to see na mas maraming mga lalaki na ang nag-stand up for women.
Ay ma'am, speaking of sa society po, meron po years ago din daw po, para po yung reputation po as a family po, para po matago yung mga hardships or yung mga violence. So parang sinasabi sa mga co-wives na wag na lang ikwento yung mga ginagawa ng asawa mo sa ibang tao, i-keep it to themselves na lang po. Diba, isa din po yung factor para ang fear and stigma against po sa domestic violence po.
Actually, we still have that. Lalo na din sa mga girl survivors natin ng incest rape. So, they keep it among themselves. So, yun ang role namin sa Haven is to empower these children na you have a voice. Yun ang sinasabi namin sa kanila. It's so sad minsan yung mother mismo ang isa pang hindi naniniwala sa bata kasi syempre asawa niya yung nai-implicate doon sa case. Mga ganun. So, it's siguro, yun nga, yung how we deal with the disclosures. Yan.
And I hope na with all of this campaign na ginagawa natin and we're very happy kasi you said yes po sa invitation natin kasi we want to send a message across lalong-lalo sa mga kabataan kagaya natin na kailangan talagang ma-empower ang mga women, especially when it comes to siguro pag-report ng mga experiences nila, mga pag-aabuso na ganito para ma-solve talaga ang mga ganitong cases and makita na kailangan lumakas pa talaga ang puwersa ng mga kababaihan.
Ma'am, paano po naman about sa retaliation ng mga abusers po? Meron na po bang mga cases na ganun po?
So far, I think yun din yung isang nakikita namin kaya mabait din si Lord sa amin kasi wala pa naman so far, oo. Kung wala naman akong naalala na may mga nagre-retaliate. May mga threats, oo, pero eventually naman because of our partnership with the police or ibang partner agencies ay eventually nawawala din naman yung mga ganong klaseng incidences.
Ayan. So, kumusta naman po, ma'am, yung siguro acceptance ng mga tao sa mga, kung ma-reintegrate na sa community ito ng mga survivors ng violence against women? Do you conduct siguro IEC campaign sa mga communities, sa mga grassroots level, mga ganun?
Actually, kasi ang cases nila ay confidential. So, what we do, at the onset, si referring social worker ng community, siya ang in charge to prepare the community while we are preparing the child for reintegration sa aming center. So that's how it works actually. It's a partnership between the referring LSWDO.
Ayun. So,
last na question na po.
Okay lang. Go.
Ma'am, you mentioned po kanina how pag yung survivor ayaw pong hindi po nagana yung mga programs. Meron na din po bang mga cases wherein yung pagkatapos po nung program, yung mga survivors po nagre-relapse sa kanilang trauma or parang bumabalik sa dating abusers nila, unfortunately?
Oo. Kasi no matter how we prepare the family, it's still yung acceptance ng family, how they change the way they communicate with their children, mga ganun. Kasi pag tinitignan mo yung cases, mostly it's parang because of dysfunctional families. Ganun. Kaya you provide the services, nasa family pa rin kasi yun, kung paano din nila i-take yung opportunity for them na para magbago yung bata or magbago the way they deal with the child, mga ganyan. Yun yung mga efforts na ginagawa natin. We conduct family dialogues.
So malaki ang role ng family.
Yes, very.
Sa ganitong mga sitwasyon. Kasi doon nanggagaling mismo itong ating mga survivors. Family is the most basic unit ng community, and before they go out, family talaga ang doon sa so kailangan it's good na you do preparations for the family as well, hindi lang sa mga survivors. And siguro final na lang siguro, ano po yung hope natin in the okay. Ikakat naman yun. Parang napatingin din ako. kaya nga tinignan ko, baka may psychologist. Ayun. So anyway, baka may sigurong nakikita natin na hope in the future para sa ating mga kababaihan.
Ang violence against women kasi is a cycle. It's generational. Sa mga cases namin, nakikita namin na yung mother was a vow survivor na hanggang sa anak nangyayari. So, siguro, yun talaga yung pag-igtingan ng ating interagency. Kung paano natin ma-address yung generational or yung cyclical na occurrences ng vow among the family. Kasi marami naman tayong agencies with very marami tayong serbisyo actually. Not DSWD lang. I'm talking about all agencies. Andyan pa yung mga NGOs who cater to families din naman.
Ma'am, since you mentioned po na generational ang trauma, can you please specify po kung ano po yung mga trauma na nakukuha ng mga bata? Especially po pag kunyari po nawi-witness nila yung violence na nagyayari sa mother nila, and paano po sila nakaka-cope as children po, and how do they cope as adults na po?
Yung it starts din kasi with yung may mga, kung baga sa sakit, may signs and symptoms din kasi. Like for example, absenteeism, mga ganyan. That's why it's very important din na our educators are aware kung ano din yung symptoms ng isang batang may trauma or may depression or may family problem, ganun. It's not just looking at the child na pasaway, nag-absent, ganun. So there's always a reason why. Kung naglalayas yan, bakit yan naglalayas? Wala namang bata na pinanganak na pasaway, ganun. So it's all those things that we have to look at really para mas pinpoint natin kung ano yung kailangan na i-address na problem dito sa bata. Yun. And then of course it's very unfortunate na itong mga bata who witness yung violence committed against their mothers, tapos if remains unaddressed, sila na din yung susunod. That's what we mean by generational. Kasi as per experience, we have few cases sa center, vow yung nanay, and then eventually pati na yung anak na babae. To the point na nagiging incest na din. So yun yung nakikita kasi naming pattern ngayon.
Kasi po pag sa family setting po, pag nakikita po ng anak na babae na maski igulpi yung nanay, parang hindi nagre-react, baka pagtanda rin po niya maging ganun. And yung mga anak din po na lalaki na makita na okay lang pala na ganito tratuhin yung babae. Like, wala po silang proper education kung ano yung tama at mali, since sa home nagsisimula yung kanilang perspective in life.
That's why it's very important yung sinabi mo nga kanina na family is the basic unit of society. So doon pa lang sana na-address na natin yung violence against women. And tama ka, yung lalaki na witness niya yung ginagawa ng tatay niya sa kanyang nanay. We have a few cases in RRCY, yung aming Regional Rehabilitation Center for Youth, na ang case na nung dalawang anak nila na lalaki is rape. So, yun ang mga nagiging effects sa children if this vow remains to be unaddressed at the family level.
Ayun, so we hope na in the future talaga is lahat ng family members ay ma-empower sa mga ganitong mga issues. And curious lang ako, ma'am, ito pong mga ating mga survivors sa Regional Haven, pwede ba silang bisitahin ng kanilang mga families or kahit yung mga abusers or yung mga perpetrators, ma'am, or talagang out of the na talaga?
If the family is the offending party, hindi pwede. We only welcome the non-offending party or the non-offending members of the family kasi it's also for the peace of mind nung bata. Yun.
Ma'am, pag yung cases po ng mga abuse talaga, meron na pong pruweba, may evidence na po against dun ang police, gaano po kabilis mariresolve yung cases nila?
Actually, case to case din kasi Oo. Case-to-case basis din kasi yun. And of course, I am not in the position to answer kasi nga may mga circumstances din kasi na tinitignan ang ating legal system when it comes to the progress of our court cases. Ayun.
Ma'am, dun po sa center, paano po yung duration ng pagstay ng mga survivors sa Haven? May kunyari may mga 3 months, mga 6 months, or as long as needed talaga nung survivor?
Actually, a minimum of 6 months. And then, meron din yung tumatagal kasi it depends nga on how responsive they are to our programs and services. And marami din kasing circumstances like how prepared is the family for the reintegration of the child. Kasi kung i-reintegrate mo yan na hindi prepared ang family, sayang lahat ang efforts natin for the child kung you reintegrate to the family na hindi pa naman din prepared. Ganun.
Ganun pala yun. Okay, so baka may mga question. Go lang, diba? I love it. Ang ganda ng usapan.
Last question.
Go.
Pag sa mga specific cases po, like buong family po, yung mother and children po ba napaghihiwalay dun sa Haven? Or since, okay. So, sama-sama.
No, as much as possible, families stay together. Pag lalaki nga lang, we have to refer it to either Home for Boys ng SLU. Yes.
Okay.
Oo. Or Helping Hands. Ganyan.
Ayan. So you partner also with the civil society organizations who are providing
But for children younger than 10 years old, pwede pa sa amin yung male. Pag above yun na yung hindi na pwede. Kasi we also have girls na 10 years old, 8 years old. Ganun.
Doon po ba ang dami pa lang. And doon po ba sa center, ma'am, you let other children play with each other? Like, kunyari from ibang family, tapos naglalaro sila with other families, yung ganun po.
Oo. Actually, we conduct inter-center activities. Kasi it's for their development din. Diba? Yung healthy interaction with the opposite sex, especially for our girls, kasi mga teenagers yan. So, yun, oo. Kasi it's part of their normal development.
Para hindi sila ma-shock siguro mo paglabas nila, bakit lalaki na lahat yung mga
Yes, and hindi kulungan naman ang ating center.
It's a development center, hindi siya Ayun. So baka may mga iba pa po kaming dapat malaman when it comes to our Regional Haven or sa center or sa mga services na pinoprovide ng Regional Haven po.
Well, yun, ang Haven is open to your referrals, pero syempre it still undergoes yung assessment. And Haven, we all consider as a family. Kaya nga, yun, meron din kaming house parents on duty. Okay. Yun, round the clock din yun. So, for your referrals or inquiries, pwede bang na lang yung number?
Pwede naman, ma'am. Ayan,
Number
so
ko na lang.
sa mga siguro gusto mag-refer or gustong malaman kung ano pa yung mga services ng Regional Haven, baka may number sila or Facebook page na pwede nilang i-contact po.
Or i-message sa FB page ng DSWD. Oo.
Ayan. So, nasabi nyo nga ma'am kanina, di ba, na malakas ang partnership. So, yung information talagang na nakukuha ng mga right department, ganun.
Pwede rin po kaya mag-refer as a friend po. Like when you witnessed your own friend be abused po. Pero ayaw po nilang sabihin. Pwede po ba yung i-refer po?
Yes, actually you may reach out sa aming DSWD FB page. Anyway, yung nasabi ko kanina, close naman ang aming partnership with the SMS. Palagi yang nagfi-feedback sa amin kung mga may ganyan. Ngayon, whichever is accessible sa teacher, pwede, sa police, pwede rin. Hindi naman kailangan talagang sa DSWD kayo mag-refer. Actually, any trusted citizen din, pwede rin siyang mag-report ng cases of abuse. Kasi kung hindi ka rin nag-report, you are also liable for not reporting something that already reached your knowledge and hindi mo pa rin siya ni-report to the proper authorities.
Ayan. So, isa yun sa mga roles ng community members, and I hope na hindi naman yung pagiging marites, is just being a concerned citizen na pag nakita mong nasasaktan yung friend mo, yung friend mo or yung kaaruba mo, mag-report na lang po sa mga authorities. I believe meron din, sa PNP, may sila, Women and Children's Protection Desk, and yung mga barangays natin, meron silang women's desks, so you can always report sa, and then i-refer din naman nila sa DSWD for proper intervention.
And then sa Baguio, we are very fortunate kasi yung ating City Social Welfare and Development Office, meron na silang satellite offices. Yes, kaya pwede na rin doon. They are now closer to the community. So pwede rin through yung barangay, and then establish na kasi ang referral system dito sa Baguio. Kaya yun naman ang kagandahan. And when we report cases.
We hope na maipattern din yan ng iba pang mga mga places dito sa Cordillera, kasi especially sa mga geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas, kasi actually napag-usapan na namin with the different podcasts before na yung mga areas na ito malalayo sila talaga ang may mga cases din ng VAU na hindi nabibigyan ng proper intervention. Yun. So, ang dami na natin mag-usapan. Ayan. So, isa na namang napakaganda pag-uusap ang ating nagawa, and thank you so much, Ma'am Roj, for being with us today. And I hope na maraming natutunan ng ating mga kabataan. And with that, sana i-follow and like nyo po ang aming Facebook page para makita nyo pa ang iba't ibang mga pag-uusap na ginagawa ng PIA with, of course, with our partner agencies like the SWD, mga pinag-usapan, mga bagay na mahalaga for our youth. And baka may mga last po tayo message para sa ating mga viewers.
Yun nga, kanina sinabi ko na Regional Haven is open. You just reach out to us through our DSWD FB page, and we will be there to listen. Yun yung maipapangako namin sa ating mga nakikinig or viewing this podcast.
Ayan. So, secured naman tayo sa DSWD. They're always there to listen. Ayan. So, trained naman sila. And, di ba parang katulad ni Ma'am, very demure, ganyan. Parang mapagkakatiwalaan talaga. Ayan. Kaya friends tayo sa DSWD. Ayan. So, thank you so much po sa ating mga viewers. Huwag niyo pong kakalimutan, i-follow ulit ang Philippine Information Agency Cordillera sa Facebook page. Meron din po kami sa TikTok, sa YouTube, so Spotify. Ayan, marami po kami mga social media accounts. I-follow nyo lang po para mas ma-educate po tayo, lalo na mga kabataan. Ayan, so ako ulit si Clint Isvan Totanes.
And I'm Chelsea Doringo.
Laytiti, at para Sinaninungan, a youth-oriented podcast of the Philippine Information Agency Cordillera. Maraming salamat and see you sa susunod na episode.